Hi, welcome to a new video. So we're going to continue talking about the case study of this paper, which is great. And welcome back to the channel where I just read what have been lost. There are a lot of other pages outside the place, but all the researches and papers and cases tends to be at, which is that. So that's why I'm pulling those up. So we have the three organizations and they use a variety of tools. In-house built applications, on-premise applications, and web-based tools to communicate, share information, and connect employees and managers. And remember, this is following the what social media type of article we were talking about. So what's social media for you? Some of the applications were used in all organizations, others were organization specific. Two organizations, UK Bank and UK Outsourcing, use a similar application for internal communications. Both applications provided similar functionalities. Users had profiles, groups can be created by users and by administrators. What happened, as we commented on the previous video, is that they started filling this website or this tool that I don't know why, but even though we use really similar things that we can actually mirror to some social media specifications and functions, when it turns to be on the workforce area, everything is a tool. And I don't know why. It's something so similar, why it has to be labeled differently from one environment to another. It's like you go to work and then you go back home on the same person. And then let's say like your company just created some type of Facebook kind of platform, or they are just paying for something similar to that. But since that platform is for employees, now it's called different. And then for that environment, it's a tool. It's like, why? So while outside my work, my regular Facebook page is not a tool. It's just something non-productive, as some people might be wondering, or something that could be seen as a way to pass time and just connecting with others. Yes, like, yeah, thanks to this article, we can see, like, yeah, even if they craft something from scratch, as they did as part of the case study, they pretty like similar to connect with other employees inside the company. They label everything, or just like the basis the functionalities to have direct and group conversations, also collaboration tools, and they started labeling as relational and social. It's just like it is a social media platform. Even though just your company is using it and you aren't connecting with other people in other companies that are using it, blah, blah, that doesn't mean that it is in a social media platform. So, see, like in one day you can dismiss the formality in one and adding more to the other, which I find curious. But what is in-house media? We just stop in there because we need to drive through that concept in order for us to know more about this. So some interviewers in each of the organizations made explicit differentiation of using social media platforms for private and professional purposes. Some of the platforms were stated to be used internally, others only externally. However, the boundaries of some platforms were blurred. This realization in part supports findings from other research which call for a focus on in-house social media use. However, enterprise social media, and I put that in quote marks, a concept coined by Leonardi and others, deviates from the perceptions of the interviewees in this study. So, the first defining property of the enterprise social media is the ability to communicate messages with a specific coworkers or broadcast messages to everyone in the organization. You see the relationship with the regular social media platform. The participating organizations were using public social media platforms, notably LinkedIn, for internal communications and exchange. And we can actually name others, but you know that one is the most popular one for that area per se for now. The clarification of what in-house means is essential here, as in-house system, a system which is developed in-house, as it says, or one which is used for internal communications only. For you, when it has like this type of concept, is it like a social media still for you on your eyes, or it immediately just goes and converts into a professional corporate social media platform? Let me know. Because on your perspective, it could be different for sure. Further, the way in which the platform use was sanctioned by management and in which the employees use these platforms also varies. In all organizations, employees reported deviant use of social media platforms. This actual use, misuse, not use, other use defies the rigid definition of in-house social media. For example, the recruiters in UK Bank were instructed to use LinkedIn to track candidates and arrange interviews. And this happens with also like this LinkedIn Sales Navigator that you have to purchase. Of course, they have like different levels, depending on the level, depending if they have free trial, whatever the promotion and the flexibilities are for new accounts, long accounts, known accounts, and other variations. But yeah, it's an enterprise tool. Emphasize on the tool that you can find like prospects with for your roles, but it is commonly used only on that recruitment side of the industry. And yeah, even though you can do that like one by one organically, you can also do it through that way. There is an emerging networked competitive where ubiquitous IT is an integral part of organizational strategy that spans inside and outside organizational boundaries. Informal networks are critical to knowledge creation and sharing. Collaborative technologies enable informal networks to interact across geographic and temporal boundaries. The term online community encompasses a wide range of internet fora, including markets and auction sites, bulletin boards, list servers, social networking sites, blogs, gaming, and shared interest sites. Let me know the last time you read a blog piece. Please, like, let me know in the comments. Online communities enable asynchronous, immediate, interactive, low cost communication, and web blogs offer asymmetric communication. Online and offline social networks allow content to spread further. And for example, youth movement and other type of movement, they start like going through Facebook, going or setting up events that can also be really like high engaging in some scenarios. The content is spread along the social graph, crossing virtual platform borders, political and geographical boundaries, and the boundaries between virtual and real worlds. Because they have that organizations lose control over the rhetorical resources, with boundaries between the reader and the audience becoming blurred. Social media enables the creation of online communities of practice, which exists within and outside organizations, expand organizational boundaries as well as expanding domains of specialist practice and knowledge. For example, people can be like really more like warning or type of telling you about the internal policies and other type of restrictions inside a company when you're an employee. But somehow I find it curious. Like you cannot be out there sharing about everything to anyone. But coincidentally, when you have like a teacher of the company and you start telling more about the company to other people in a good way, then that's acceptable. It's just like why? But anyway, I think that's one of the purposes of the pearl, to just go like a boarding sign, making some kind of free advertisement to others from the t-shirt, from the also the sweater that they give you, from the agenda, the pen, everything has like, yes, we're giving you the tools, this is a proof for you to do this work, but at the same time you take those outside and then you're sharing the company's logo everywhere. But that's like a really subtle strategy that is smart in my eyes and has been used for years. So that's another method. Social media enables the creation of online communities of practice which exists within and outside organizations, span organizational boundaries as well as spanning domains. In the case of social media use in HR, new audiences are entering the space of corporate communications. Simultaneously, organizations are also able to penetrate the in-house boundaries and enter the personal space. Managers and leaders can extend their personal influence to promote their organizations. Selection activities on Facebook, checking buttons on employees' profiles are not uncommon and clearly remove the professional personal divide on social media. Individuals are prepared to give up their privacy and lower their guard in order to promote themselves professionally. The case organizations in this research report deliberate and unintended breaches from the in-house barriers. UK Bank's initiative to introduce Avature, an online community to engage with potential candidates, shows the organization's desire to reach beyond organizational borders. UK Consulting's employees actively participate in online groups, own public websites which are dedicated to either UK Consulting's products or to areas related to individual employees' work. They do this in order to learn more about the products and services offered by the organization, seeking in-house relevant information on public spaces. UK outsourcing employees to engage on public social networks. They overstep organizational and geographical boundaries by reposting job adverts from other locations, by tagging hiring managers in job posts on LinkedIn. The cases of UK consulting and UK sourcing are examples of social media use across organizational boundaries which is not sanctioned or supported by the respective organization. The democratization of communication within and without an organization is an outcome of social media and user-generated content. Defining any tool as in-house social media appears to undermine the trans-organizational reach the social media enables. So that's why the micro-influencers were getting more noticeable in terms of making what now is called UGC content, because it might feel like more organic, it might feel like more targeted, not to a massive spread with different numbers or wider numbers, but It was just content that you can use, repost, and that is more catchy and, of course, better in terms of price for some companies to reuse content users or even clients have been making about their products or services. Social presence is a key part of social media. Social presence is the sense of worth and sociability within a website. Social presence is defined as the extent to which a medium allows users to experience others as psychologically present. Presence is the illusion of being there, of an experience of being in an environment while physically situated in another location. Intimacy and immediacy enhance the worth of the media, and presence is higher for interpersonal and synchronous communications than mediated and asynchronous. A media is perceived as warm if it enables human interactions, sociability, and sensitivity, to be clear. Information seeking increases the perception of social presence. We can find that social media presence enhances users' continued use of social media. What you see matters is a scenarios in some categories and in social media. The empirical data from the case studies underlies the participants' understanding of social media as one which builds relationships and communities. UK bank interviewers suggested that predictive social media are usage includes just keeping in touch and knowing that one's colleagues are up to. One of the UK consulting interviewers explained that they find it easier to work with someone if they have previously read their colleagues' blog or liked any of their posts, as this will create a relationship between them prior to and independent of any common task. UK outsourcing interviewers gave example of developing a sense of belonging and affiliation developed through group membership on social media. We also have affiliate programs and referral programs on the company as well, in order to enhance or just to expand the company's presence and to work alongside the employee in order for reach to their horizons in terms of some of the goals of the company as well. Any definition of social media should somehow capture the experience of social presence and worth engendered by belonging to a community. Even communities of practice, which are essentially work released, bring about essential social presence as well. We also have that is like whether it is possible and meaningful to distinguish between personal and professional social media use and between public and private social networks. One of the properties of social media is the boundlessness of individual applications, sites, and platforms. Social media is built around connections and relationships. These interpersonal interactions are not necessarily contained within organizational borders and are not necessarily kept personal. Data from empirical studies suggest that there might be discrepancies in what academic world defines as social media use, and what the praxis world understands when interrogated about it. The data and literature further suggests that a clear-cut distinction between in-house and public social media may neither be possible nor desirable. What do you think about this paper? Let me know your thoughts about it. Some important points are touched and some others raised. Deeper questions we already had, which is great. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to hop on in another video with you. See you next time. Bye bye.